Good morning. It has been way too long. I don't even know where to begin. Obviously you can probably tell from my voice that I am getting over being sick again. And it's been a really rough time. The last time I think I uploaded anything was in October, so I'm sorry it's been so long. I seriously miss uploading so much. I miss a lot of things, but I have been living in a house that is just kicking me down so often that I don't feel like I ever have the energy to do anything at all. And it's been taking such a mental toll, and like I said, it's just been hard. In October, I had found out that I had pneumonia again, and I had a huge breakdown from it because I had that pneumonia for a month. It would not go away. I was constantly feeling horrible. I was on so many medications. And then as soon as I started to feel a little bit better in November, I got hit again with something. And then at the end of December, I got hit with something that carried over into January. And then once that passed, I was like, okay, I'm feeling okay. And then I got sick in February. When I got sick in February, it was just this really quick thing. It felt like it felt like a really bad head cold with some chest congestion. And I was so excited because I didn't have to go to the doctor at all. It's I didn't end up in the hospital. I didn't have to go get antibiotics. I was like, oh my gosh, for once, I'm fighting this off without having to go and be seen. And then it felt like that damn sickness just wouldn't let go. I had this cough from then up until now, and then it just started getting increasingly worse, and my lungs were feeling worse and worse, and I was just like, I don't know what to do. So then I went to the doctor, and they're like, yeah, it looks like you've got pneumonia developing in there again. And I just was like, oh my God, that's the fourth time in less than a year of having pneumonia. And so I got put on antibiotics, and they were like, it's very small, so we're just gonna give you these antibiotics and it should kick that right out of there. And if you feel any worse, come back, blah, 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 you know how it goes. I was taking these antibiotics, and I just kept gradually getting worse. And then on Sunday, I was having the hardest time doing anything. I couldn't even stand up without being so winded, and just I could not catch my breath. I was coughing until I was gagging. I felt horrible, and I was like, well, maybe I should give it a day, another day, so that, because on Sundays I don't really going to urgent care because they can't do the tests that they normally can on the weekdays. And I didn't want to go to the hospital because my mom was like, you sound terrible, you need to go to the doctor and they need to tell you what's going on. So I was just kind of got worried about that. So I was like, fine, I'll go. And he checked me, and he was like, seeing as how you do have pneumonia in there and I can't double check you to see what it's doing, I think you need to go to the hospital. So I didn't want to, but I was like, okay, that's fine. And of course spent the entire day there, which again, that's just how it goes. I'm not trying to complain. You go to the hospital, you know that you're most likely going to be there for at least 4 hours. We were there for 7 hours. So that was not good. And I think there was only one doctor working. And when he came in to tell me some stuff about my test results, this nurse comes running in, and there was another patient going into anaphylactic shock. And so he's like, I gotta go. And he goes running, which then took 2 hours, which was totally fine. I was like, I hope that guy's okay. And thankfully he was. But yeah, it was a very interesting day at the hospital. And the crazy thing was they took so much blood. They did x-rays, a CT. I thought they did something else. I swear they did something else. And everything came back perfect. He was like, you probably did have a pneumonia in there, and the antibiotics, since you've been on it for I think at that time, would have already been on them for 5 days. So he was like, I think that it probably got the pneumonia cleared out, but your asthma was still like super exacerbated. So, you know, that's why your chest is hurting so much and you're so winded. My heart rate was so high too. That's the other thing they did. They did EKG and they were trying to test to make sure that everything was okay with my heart, because when I was moving around, it was like at one point it was like 178. And I was like, that's not my normal. My normal is between like 88 and sometimes around like 110, but usually it's between like 88, 98. And he's just like, yeah, we need to figure out what's going on with your heart. And my heart looked perfect. And so he was just like, whatever you've got right now is just causing everything to be having a much harder time. So he was like, I'm just gonna have to send you home. I'm gonna give you a steroid. And I took that steroid, and that has been doing wonders on making me feel better. I still feel pretty crummy, but I am not as winded from just standing up anymore. Like, I can walk through my house and not be like, oh my God, I can't breathe. So with that, I have been working like so hard trying to find anywhere else to live, because I can't live here anymore. This house is super drafty and it is super moldy, and it is just knocking my health down. It is hurting my kid. It is hurting like all of us, and I don't know what to do anymore because I have reported it so many times and they're always like, yeah, we'll get over there and we'll fix it, and nothing gets done. And I was like, I got to a point where I was so tired of reporting it that I was like, I'm going to report it to the state, because where I live, it's like, I think most places, if you're not owning your own place, like whoever does own it is supposed to fix those kinds of problems. And especially with mold, like there's a lot of laws against that and protections. So I tried calling and all the numbers led to nowhere, and nobody could give me any answers, and I couldn't get a hold of anybody. So as a last ditch effort, I went to my landlord manager and I like explained to her that I was putting in applications to move anywhere else because this place is really hurting me. I have been sick 15 times. I've had to have, I think it was like 4 CT scans, 1 MRI, a buttload of x-rays. Like, I would say like well over 10. I wouldn't even be surprised if it was like close to 20, because I've had to have it so much because of all of the mental and respiratory distress that this place is causing me. I feel like I'm just never feeling normal. Like, I feel like I can't even get through a whole month without being sick with something, and also just feeling really off mentally constantly. Like, I am more depressed than I have been in a really long time. I'm stressed out all the time. I'm sick all the time, and I'm like, I can't live here anymore. And it makes me really sad because when I got this place, I was so excited because it's in a place that I wanted to live like my entire life, and I love the area. I'm really close to my family. I'm really close to all of my doctors because I do have disabilities and problems that I have to be seen for, somewhat frequently. And so I was just like, I am in the perfect spot, but this house is just really hurting me. And so I told her that we were looking at other places and that, nothing's getting done. And she was like, oh, this is all new. Like, this has just started within like the last year, like all these units and places having mold. And I was like, no, because when I moved in here, I asked you if there was any mold and you said no. And when she said no, I was like, kind of worried me with the way that she said it. Because instantly she's telling me, well, if there is any mold, you have to take care of it. And I was like, if you didn't know that there was mold, I don't feel like you would say that. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. But so she's just like, this is a new problem, and if you can give me pictures of the mold, maybe we can get to your place first and get it all fixed. And I was just like, yeah, I could probably do that, but also like I just need to move because this is also a super drafty place. It's very poorly insulated and they're very, very old. And I'm like, that would be more work than, like, you couldn't live here if they were fixing the insulation. So I was just like, I just really need to move. And she runs another place, and I was like, how's that place? Does it have mold? And the way that she said no to me, she just kind of like shook her head and was like, and I was like, that kind of feels like you don't want to say that there's no mold, because maybe there is. And we went and looked at it all around, like the outside, because she didn't have anything available right now. But she was just like, get out of here. No. She was just like, you know, sometimes I have a bunch of places available, and other times nothing will be available for a long time. Get out of the way. And it is like really, really run down out there. And I am the type of person that's like, don't judge a book by its cover, because I have lived in places that you would look at and think like, that probably is not a very good place. And then you go in and it's fine. But she's telling me how they are just now starting to work on the outside of it and trying to like renovate more and make it more presentable, which just kind of is worrisome, because I'm like, it looks very run down, it looks very neglected, and with your track record of the place that I currently live, like, how am I supposed to trust that that place is going to be good too? I put in an application for it, but I'm just like feeling kind of uneasy about it. And there was this one place, it was perfect in every way. So I called and I asked the guy, you know, I was like, do you have a really long waiting list? Because where I live, most places, unless it's like super high end and high cost, you have to wait on a waiting list, or you're paying like a ton to get into a place. He's like, no, we don't have a very extensive waiting list. And he's like, if you can give me your information, we can start processing everything. And he's like, I just need $70 for the background check, and then I can run everything, and I can talk to my manager, and I can let you know if you qualify. And I was like, awesome, sounds great. And this place was so perfect. It was like, it had AC, which is really nice, really good heating. It had upstairs to it. There was so much more, like ceiling fans, perfect insulation, a deck. Like, there was just so much about it that I was like, I really, really want to get in here. So he clarified with me like 3 times on the phone. He was like, the monthly income for your household. And I told him over and over and over. And he said, yeah, I think you qualify just fine, but I got to talk to a manager. So then he calls me back the next day, and he's like, I talked to her. It looks like you qualify. Go ahead and put, you know, all of your information in. And then once we process everything, I will let you know. And then again, clarified again, what is your, like, this is your monthly income, this is what you get, all about, like, nothing else, nothing less. And I'm like, this is exactly what it is. Then I get a call back, and he's like, yeah, everything looks great, it looks like you qualify just fine. Oh, but one little thing, it's $500 more than what you could afford. Like, it'll literally take up your entire monthly income, leaving you with maybe, you know, $10 left over. And I'm like, I can't do that. Like, yeah, I wouldn't want to move you in here if you couldn't afford it, but is there anybody who could help you pay the difference? I'm like, no, there's nobody that I can go, hey, I want to live in this place. It's thousands of dollars to rent. Can you pay the difference that I can't afford? Like, I can't do that. And then he's like, there's some places that could help you with paying if you want to give them a call. And he's like, go ahead and ask them, and they might be able to do like substitute the rest that you can't afford. And so I was like, okay. So I call, and she's like, I can't do that for you because it's a long-term thing. If this was like, oh, hey, I need this much for like maybe 2 months, then yeah, I could probably get the funds for you. She's like, but that's a long-term thing, and I am not comfortable helping pay for something knowing that in a couple months you quit. She's like, I am not comfortable trying to get you into a place that in a couple months you would probably end up be losing because you can't afford the rent. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of figured that would be the answer, but I'm still devastated because I really, really like the place. And I was just like, I was so hopeful. I was like, this is this is where I'm gonna get out and we're gonna be healthier, and it's right down the road from a really good school, right down the road from a gym, right next to my dentist office. Like, it was perfect in every single way, and I was so excited, and I just feel like I got my hopes up when I shouldn't have. So I had to call him and tell him that we had to pass on it, and I cried so hard because I was just like, you asked me multiple times what my income was, and yes, I know that some places, like, maybe they don't know the exact, oh my goodness, you are being a troublemaker. Maybe they don't know like the exact amount that you would be paying. But I'm like, I feel like you know enough that you could have been like, well, this is your income and this is like a base price, so you probably couldn't afford it. So let's not go through this entire process and waste anybody's time. I've never like ran apartments or homes or anything, so I guess I don't know how it works. Maybe that's just like a normal thing. So my sister, where she lives, she was like, let me see if I can get you the manager's number and you can get a hold of her. And I was like, okay. Which, this is like 3 hours from where I live. And I was like, I just want to get out, so I'm willing to relocate if I have to. So and if my voice is sounding like different, I keep having really really bad coughing fits, and just stuff is coming up, you know. I'm sorry, it's gross. So I get a hold of this lady and I'm like, this is my situation, I desperately need out of here. And she's like, well, I have a place opening right next door to your sister. She's like, it'll be opening like mid to end of April. So if you can get your information into me immediately, I could probably get you processed and we could say like it's yours. Which then I was like, oh my God, like, are you kidding me? That's insane. And so that's what I've been trying to work on at the moment. I'm waiting for like a little bit now because it was a different person out of state who needed to send me the application, and they had not sent anything, and she just texted me saying, hey, the application's on its way to your email. So I was like, oh, thank God. I'm gonna see if maybe I could fax her everything just to get it to her like immediately. I gotta run around a little bit and get some information that they need, like copies of stuff and just like bank statements and birth certificates and all of that fun stuff that you gotta do when you're trying to move. Now, the biggest problem and the biggest worry right now is that we could do the move, I could afford the rent, everything would be fine, but the move itself, like the cost, is going to be a little bit out of our range, and that is something that I'm really worried about. So I'm just trying to come up with the funds for that. I did make a GoFundMe. I absolutely hate asking for help and asking for money because I'm just like, everybody's struggling right now. Everybody's having a hard time. But I am going to put the link in there, and if you want to donate, I would appreciate it more than anything. And if you don't want to donate, that is fine. Maybe you could share it at least and just kind of spread it around, and maybe it'll fall into the hands of somebody who's like, yeah, I can help, and like that would be super awesome. But right now I'm just really scared that if we don't get out of here, that we're gonna be stuck for a really long time, and then I don't know how much more of this like my health can take. I'm really scared of having some permanent damage. You know, I was warned that this could cause COPD, which is a huge fear of mine because, you know, that's not something that you can really like get better from. You just have to manage it, and it's not pleasant. And, you know, living in a drafty, moldy house can cause a lot of mental problems, respiratory and heart. And like, I've been trying so hard for a long time now to lose weight and to get healthier. And like, I had asked the doctor, you know, that I was seeing that day, because I know that outside of, you know, not living in a place like this, they're always like, you know, there's all these tips that can help you improve your health. And so I was like, do you have any tips that I could do to just help kind of maybe strengthen my immune system? And he's like, exercise and good diet. And I was just like, the diet part is not that big of a problem. Like, I can do all of that stuff easily, but it's really hard to exercise when you feel like crap all the time. I'm like, I can't really go for a walk around the block or do an extensive workout when my respiratory, like when my lungs feel like junk, and when it's hard to breathe, or when my heart rate is super high. Like, you can't do that. And so I'm like, it's frustrating because it's like, I want to exercise, I want to lose weight, but I feel like crap all the time. So it's like, how am I supposed to do any of that? Like, I guess I could try to push through some of it. And so I'm just trying everything I can to get everything gathered so that we can move. And my sister, she's lived in this place before, and I've been there many times. I know that it's nice. I know that it does not have a mold problem. I know that it's really far away, and that sucks, but like, I just can't keep staying here. I absolutely cannot stay in this house. Because last summer, when the maintenance guy was fixing a unit with mold, it took him like 3 months to get it done. And that was just one. And he had just told us not that long ago, because our toilet was making some crazy noises, and then all of a sudden, disgusting water, sewage water, backs up into our tub and comes overflowing out of the toilet. And we were like, what the hell? And he goes next door and he's like, oh, this is happening at your neighbor's house too. So, you know, it wasn't like an us problem or anything. And he's telling us that there are so many vines intertwined into the pipelines that eventually it's probably going to cause a massive, expensive mess of, it's gonna break through pipelines or something. And I'm like, cool. So that's another thing to add on here, that our entire house smelled like rotten sewage for like 2 days, and it was disgusting, and we couldn't use the bathroom. And I was just like, I hate this place. I'm grateful that I have a roof over my head, because I know there's some people who don't have anything. So it's like, at least I have that, and I'm really grateful for it. But I'm just so tired of feeling like this all the time. And anyways, he had said when he was here, he's like, oh yeah, well, I've got like this many units ahead of you before I could even get to yours. So I'm like, oh, and it's only him, and he's got so much on his plate. And I'm like, there's no way he's gonna even be able to get to it within this year. Like, I can't imagine that he could, with everything that he's doing. And he was saying how frustrated he's been because there's so much work and not enough hands to be getting it done. So yeah, I'm trying to raise some money to move. I'm hoping that I can get everything into this lady and she can process everything. I already called the place that said that they might be able to help with the deposit, because my God, the deposit, I could not afford that at all. But she said, you know, fill out this information, we'll let you know. And if they can't help us, then I don't know exactly what we do about that. But I just know that I need out of here. I want my health to get back to where it was. I have not felt even somewhat normal in so long. And I hate the fact that like the way I'm feeling right now is becoming my normal. Like, I'm just not okay with it. I miss filming. I miss working out. I miss just being able to do regular things and just live life, you know? And I know that I am rambling on way too long, so I'm sorry about that. But I just want to update you guys, because I feel so terrible that like I'm just not uploading regularly and I'm unable to film. But I'm like, nobody's gonna want to watch videos of me being like, hey, I'm in bed sick again. Oh, hey, I'm at the hospital again. Oh, well, I'm not exercising because I can barely get up. Like, you know, that's not fun. I hope that everything works out how it's supposed to, and that everything will be fine, and that I can just get back into, you know, the exercise and feeling good, and you know. But anyways, I'm going to cut this off now because I feel like I've been rambling for way too long. But I hope that you guys are all doing so good, and you're happy and you're healthy, and that everything's going great for you. I miss y'all so much, and I really hope that at some point again I can start uploading regularly and updating you guys with really good news. So anyways, bye.